Hello everyone. I thought I'd just share a video more about myself as to why I'm starting this channel and why I'm going to start documenting what I'm doing. So just a little bit of background. My name's John. I'm Wiltshire based near Andover. I'm in the army, married with 4 kids, well 2 step kids, 2 of my own. So if you imagine, my life is pretty hectic, pretty busy all the time, and I'm away from home a lot. But it's kind of why it's inspired me to do these videos, because I feel lately a lot of people were quite daunted and scared to come into the hobby, I'd say seriously. But I mean, I wouldn't say I'm that serious of a hobbyist, but I've been doing it for, God blimey. Well, I mean, I've been keeping koi since I was like 16 with my dad, really. So when I used to live at home, before I left at 18 to join the army, we went through a couple of ponds, me and my dad. So we bought one of those pre-formed fiberglass ponds. It was nothing special, maybe about 300 gallons, 400 gallons, something like that. Just running off a box filter. Like proper old school. My dad, when it was a gravel filter, I believe, just a box filter full of gravel. That's all it was. We kept a couple of koi. It was mainly coarse fish like your carp and tench and things like that. And we reached a point where we progressed. So we had 2 koi. The first 2 koi we had were given to us from a friend, and they were actually quite nice fish, to be honest. Yeah, they were quite nice. Looking back, I think it was a Kahaku and a Sankey. And then we looked at them, they were quite big, probably about 50 odd cm. They were way too big for the pond. So we decided we did a little bit of research, and we ended up building I believe it's 1600 gallons it is now. Just a raised pond out of sleepers. 2 foot in, 2 foot out, or maybe a bit about 4.5 foot deep, something like that. And it's now run off a big vortex and a big multi-bay. To be fair, it's been running like that since 2011, and it's done pretty well. It's quite a good pond. I mean, he's got quite a lot of koi now. It's still got a lot of the same carp that are massive now, and the tench and stuff. But obviously, when I left to join the army at 18, I kind of fell out of the hobby a bit, because I was based abroad. I was in Germany for 2 years, Cyprus for 2.5 years. I was abroad quite a lot, and then I came back to the UK in 2015, and that's when I picked up again. So my dad did lose a fair few fish on one winter when one of the pipes burst and it drained the pond, and he lost quite a few koi. So we obviously left it for a winter, well, filled it up, repaired it all, and then that year, the following year, so 2016, was the first year I was out on my own purchasing koi for that pond. I mean, years ago, I'm trying to think where I was buying koi from. Koi Water Garden. I think I purchased a few maybe from Koi Water Barn, off other hobbyists. So I was getting quite seriously into koi then, and then I met Chris from Koi Carp UK Limited, and I bought some pretty nice Kahaku off him actually, some pretty nice fish. And then when I got married, obviously now it's the house I'm in now, we had this army married quarters, was the first time I could actually have my own pond. And when I built that, we moved in, and I built a 16x8 pond outside. It was a sleeper pond, had a window, ran off a multi-bay again. But I found with that pond, right, to be fair, it took up most of the garden, so the missus weren't too happy, so the kids couldn't really play out there as much. And the winters are just brutal here. It's just absolutely savage. And it was just, I was getting about 3-4 months out of the year where the fish were feeding. So me and my friend, we come up with the idea where we used the sleepers we had that was out there and built this in my garage. I've got a lot more temperature control and I can do a lot more with koi that I couldn't have done by having them out there. I mean, I could have heated it outside and whatnot, but it would have just been ridiculously expensive on electric and that. So yeah, so back to my previous point anyway. When it comes to people coming into this hobby, I feel like a lot of people, when they come into the hobby, they feel that they have to spend an absolute fortune to keep koi. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not cheap, but you can do things on a relatively sensible budget. I mean, my hobby obviously will never come before my family, and I have to pick and choose when I can afford things and do I need this for the pond, etc, etc. So, for example, the Easy Pod that I've got running, I got second hand off another hobbyist. I think I got it for about 180 quid, 200 quid, which I thought was a fair price, because I couldn't have ran the multi-bay in here just because it was absolutely massive. It was about an 8.5 foot long multi-bay. It was ridiculous. To try and run it in here would have just been silly, especially on this size pond that didn't need a filter that big. Then I wanted a shower, but instead of buying a shower, which aren't really that cheap, well, I nicked 3 boxes from work, those there, and built my own DIY shower, which saved me quite a lot more money, to be honest. The pump, again, I got second hand off a hobbyist. The plumbing I use Wix, Screwfix, and it's like, I think it's £4 something for 3 meters of pipe. I mean, it costs nothing really. I mean, all in all, I managed to get this. I did this pond in about, well, obviously I had the sleepers decked in already. I think the liner cost me about 85 quid. All the plumbing probably about 40-50. Easy Pod 200. The shower cost me nothing. All the media that's in that shower was from the multi-bay. It's just jack matting and alpha grog and filter floss at the top. The Easy Pod's obviously got the K1 in there. What else did I purchase? The last koi show, I bought that air pump is a Superfish 60. I bought it at the show at a special price. I think it was like 80-90 quid. Excuse me, which I thought was pretty reasonable. And the fish, I mean, this year has been the most I've ever spent on koi, and the most I spent individually on koi, to be honest. But I'm getting more and more particular with what I'm buying, and I'm finding now it's more my taste. I can't afford what I like, pretty much, basically, so I have to compromise with what fish I'm buying, and is it worth, do you know what I mean, is it worth the money? So that's why I'm buying them fairly small. I buy most of my fish at Tossai. Doesn't make them mega cheaper, but it's a lot cheaper than the fish I'd want, put it that way. But I mean, I think it's quite a good pond. I'm going through a few little renovations in a minute. Well, not renovations, more just aesthetics of the pond itself. Just like touching up some paintwork, because me and the missus, we want to go for a bit of a Japanesey kind of look in here. A little bit of feng shui, if you call it that. But yeah, I think that's a fairly decent introduction to myself. Like I said, I'm new to making these videos. I'm not that great at it yet, to be honest. Don't know if I'm the most interesting person in the world, but I just want to try and give a different perspective on the hobby. And things can be done fairly cheaply. You don't need to go out and buy the most expensive medias on the market and I mean, don't get me wrong, if I could justify it, for example, I'd use Backy House media in my shower, which is probably, well, it's the best media you can put in the shower. It's unbelievable stuff. But I've been using that Alpha Grog for 3 years, and I'm yet to have, well, touch wood, I'm yet to have poor water quality from it. It doesn't get dirty because of the top layers. Just, there's so much Jack Matting and filter floss in there that takes up majority of the crap. And I mean, I clean out every 2 to 3 days, and it's just doing so well at polishing the water. Oh, sorry, let me just put the air pump back on because they sulk when it's off. But yeah, guys, like I said, I'm just trying to share a bit about myself, what I'm doing, what I'm trying to get from the channel. It's not so much about I want to get loads of views and subscribers and all that jazz to it. I just want to share what I do, and if people get interest out of it, I hope great. And if you can learn something from me, even better. But another reason I'm doing it is because I want to learn from everyone else, because everyone does things differently. And that's probably one of my favourite parts of the hobby, to be honest. It's everyone does things so differently. There is a right and wrong way of doing things, but sometimes I just like watching something where someone goes, well, actually, this does work because I've done it, and I've done this because it does work. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I need to learn how to edit videos and stuff, but when I might have to release this video, then I'll have a follow-up video probably tomorrow on what I've actually done with the pond. But we'll see how these videos does. I mean, I've posted a fair few videos on this channel. I think I've done a introduction to my pond where I explained how it runs and etc, like literage and gallonage and how it all, yeah, just how it all runs pretty much. I mean, it's not the most amazing pond in the world, but I do think I get some pretty good results from it, to be honest. I mean, like, majority of these fish I've bought, I purchased in May, June time, and majority of them were 20 to 24 cm. Well, mainly the Kahaku, the Sankey, and the Deutz Karishi guys. And I mean, well, where's my little whiteboard? You can see now my biggest Deutz Karishi guy is 41.5 cm. The other one's 35. Two of my Kahaku, the Kahakus are 35, 39, 37 and 31. The Chagoi's 47, the Kajaku's 47. The Shiros, and sorry, the Shiros and the Chag I purchased recently, that size, so that was only a week ago. Hopefully I can get a bit more centimetres on them before the winter comes in. Like I say, guys, thanks for watching, and yeah, let me know how you think this video went. Sorry if I rambled on a bit, if I'm boring, but that is what it is, I guess. Yeah, I'll have some updates for you soon, guys.